Welcome to We Talk, where we talk about anything and everything as a family.
As a family.
And today, we're going to talk about Tamla Horsford. So I'm going to give you some background on Tamla Horsford, and then we're going to discuss, our thoughts on this situation. I'm going to be referring to notes because there's a lot of information for a person to remember. Okay, so it turns out that on November 4th, 2018, a 911 call came in regarding an unresponsive person in Cummings, Georgia. When the Sheriff's Department arrived at 9:07, they discovered a clothed body of Tamla Horsford, deceased, lying in the backyard of this residence. She had been attending an overnight slumber party at the residence where there were 7 other women and 3 men were also in attendance. After doing an autopsy, they concluded that it was an accident. I guess there's a lot of speculation. Her family is not in agreement with this finding, but in giving some background, she had blunt force injuries to her head and her neck. She had abrasions on her face, left arm, left hand, and left leg. She had lacerations on her right wrist and right leg, and her right wrist was dislocated. A post-mortem toxicology was performed, and she was positive for THC, and her blood alcohol concentrate was 0.238, which 0.08 is legally impaired. They're speculating that she fell from the deck. There's a deck that was about anywhere from 10 to 14 feet high. They're speculating that she fell from that deck. And I guess that a lot of the issues come because she was the only black person, period, at this party, and everyone else was white. Forsyth
or
County.
Hispanic.
Yeah, my bad. Or Hispanic. Forsyth County is a very racial. They have a very racial climate. So everybody has a problem with the fact that nobody knows how this woman died. Nobody's seen anything. Nobody can say for sure anything. So, yeah, I think that should be. Oh, yeah. And another thing that makes this case suspicious is that the Hispanic person, Jose Barrera, which is the homeowner's boyfriend, he was a pre-trial service officer who was terminated after accessing files related to this case and also accessing files related to a stalking case pertaining to his girlfriend. So, yeah. After you've read everything that I've read, initially, no, I'm going to throw this to you. I'll let you take it away.
So I feel like when this story was presented to me, it was presented as like, these white people killed this black lady. And I'm like, that's messed up. So I look into it, and the things that I went to in order to learn more about this were biased in favor of the idea that the white people killed the black lady. But when I got some unbiased information and I just looked at it and I was reading the autopsy report and then the police report and all of this, I think I believe it was an accident. Because she was lit. Like, she was...
I've been lit plenty of times in my life. Don't hold that against me. And I've never fallen off, jumped off, or anybody's dead.
Okay, alright. So, first off, she was drunk. She was high on weed, and then I think I remember somebody said that she had also taken some Xanax. Right?
I believe that there were some things. Yeah, I believe so.
There were some things.
So,
Yeah.
So she had some drink, some smoke, and some Xannies, Mom.
Okay.
You ever been that lit?
But you know what? If
Yeah.
I was that lit, I couldn't move. I'm definitely not jumping up there on that.
She's a little more experienced than you, Mom.
I guess.
But no. So the way that I see it, then this is just a little like story that I have in my mind, because she supposedly fell when everybody had gone to sleep. Like she was the last one up. She was out on the balcony, and
That's all questionable.
That's all questionable.
You listen to the 911 call. He says, he was the last one who, actually the 911 call was placed by Jose Barrera. And he says, if I'm not mistaken, that he was the last one to see her out there. But another guest said that who had left said she was the one to see her out in the kitchen. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. There was a lot going on.
I mean,
but a question that I have, okay, because if I'm not mistaken, Jose said something to the effect of, she was standing in the kitchen, maybe waiting for a ride home. But why did she have on pajamas? And why was this a slumber party if she was going home?
well, okay, so let's say this: not everyone that attended the party stayed the night. There were some
Correct.
people that showed up, had their fun, and then they had to leave because they had to go to work the next morning or just whatever. So there were a couple people that came and went just throughout the night.
But I'm sure they didn't have pajamas on because they know they were coming and leaving.
Well,
Why would you wear pajamas? I'm just playing devil's advocate. Why would you wear pajamas to a party that you're not slumbering at when it's a slumber party?
I don't know.
Okay, go ahead.
What are you asking me? But no, I think I don't remember where I got this information, but I think Tamla expressed a desire to leave just somewhere throughout the night, and then someone told her no, you can't drive home
yourself, right?
because you're
drunk.
dog lit right now. So I don't know. Maybe that's why she wanted to try to call for a ride home. She's like, well, I gotta get home.
Yeah, but my thing is, what prompted that? I mean, she went there. I mean, let's just looking at everything that we do see. She went there with the intent on staying. I mean,
Yeah.
You don't just wear your pajamas if you're not intending on staying. So obviously
You
something.
in solidarity.
Not everybody. I looked at the picture. Not everybody had pajamas on.
Those people just don't care about solidarity.
I guess. Well, but I just would like to know what prompted her to all of a sudden want to leave. But I guess that's neither here nor there.
I
but
mean, maybe it wasn't all of a sudden, but we really don't know. There were some pictures posted, and it looked like Tamla was having a good time. So maybe something happened, or I don't know. I just don't know. And I don't think
Yeah, well, I don't know, but okay. You want to jump in, little one?
I don't know. I can see it from both sides. I can see how it could be an accident, but also my question would be, then where did the post-mortem damages come from?
Okay, well, when I went back, okay, so when I initially came across this, I listened to 2 other people before I started researching myself. And I do recall one of them, I don't know, maybe even both, but at least one of them mentioned something about post-mortem injuries. But when I read the autopsy, and you also read the autopsy, I didn't see anything about post-mortem injuries. The only post-mortem term that I seen throughout this autopsy when it was related to the toxicology. So, I mean, the fact that I didn't read this in the
official document.
Yeah, I mean, I can't jump to the conclusion that this was really true. I mean, I think a lot of people just jump to a conclusion because she's the only black person there, with all white people in this racist county. I mean, this county has a great history of racism. So, I mean, I think that's what, people are just going off of that.
So I do think that there's some I'm not gonna say like a misinformation campaign, but there are people who are definitely misinformed out there, spreading that and making it seem more, making it seem worse than it really is. I mean, that's just my belief. They could be right. I don't know, but to me it just seems like someone heard this story, and then they start telling it to a friend, and then that friend tells friends, and then it's like telephone to where it kind of it morphs the story. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, she went to this party and all the white people were just mad at her. She's just drinking alone. And then they just threw her off the balcony, and then they went down and stomped her a little bit. So, I don't know.
My thing is, if she was planning on going home, how was she going to get there?
How's she going to get home?
That's a good question, because apparently nobody apparently showed up to pick her up. I mean, if they told her, you shouldn't drive, and she's supposedly waiting for, a ride, how come nobody showed up? How come nobody stepped up to say, well, yeah, she called me, this, that, and the third? I mean, there's just so many things that are about this story.
I mean, maybe she
I never I don't go to parties, but when I'm out, I feel like some sort of update on what you're going to do is important. And so I don't understand, I feel like there would be either a text message to somebody, 'cause she had a bunch of kids.
She had 5 sons and a daughter.
So she has a boatload of kids.
Right. And actually, I do believe I read somewhere where she had FaceTime her family while she was there, and she was showing everybody, her children. I do believe I read that somewhere, or I heard it probably somewhere. Yeah. So, I mean, it just really got me feeling some sort of way.
Yeah?
Yeah, it does.
So you think it was murder most
I'm not giving that until my conclusion, but let me say this. I did listen to Paris Milan's YouTube channel, her covering the story. I also actually came across this originally from Amber Loves Mystery. I believe in giving people their props. If I looked at your stuff, that's them. No, go ahead.
No, I don't know. I think that maybe because there were so many people involved, and then each person was slightly impaired to maybe a little messed up, and they're all trying to recount these events. There's of course going to be some information that just doesn't click, because no one remembers things perfectly, especially when you're in a state like that. So somebody could have seen Tamla in the kitchen, and then they go about doing their thing,
Right.
and then they're like, oh yeah, I definitely saw her at it was 11:30, when you don't know if it was really 11:30, you're just guessing.
Yeah.
So maybe that could explain some of the discrepancies between the various stories, because there were 7 people at the party?
10.
10 people at the party?
Yeah.
So that's 9 different stories from people.
Yeah, but you have to realize that, like you said, I know one person left actually that night for sure. Then there were several others that started leaving in the wee morning hours. So, I mean,
My thing is, if there's that many people at a party, how does no one hear anything? Or no.
I mean, what if she fell?
Yeah.
because everybody was lit. She wasn't the only one partaking in the particulars. I mean,
and then not to mention, I'm sure people started to turn in at around that time.
yeah.
Because what time did she supposedly fall? Like, do we?
I
do we
think
know?
they said. I think I read somewhere that around midnight or so. I don't know.
I was
My
just-
thing is, if she fell around midnight, people were leaving in the wee hours of the morning.
I
So
don't
what's
know.
up?
I don't know.
That doesn't add up.
The balcony was like what, in the back of the house?
Yeah, well,
Yeah, but
she was
people
the
would still
only
be
smoker.
away.
That was another thing. She was the only smoker, so I guess, you know, it wasn't odd for her not to be with everybody if she went out to smoke. I do understand what you're saying. I mean, it's all.
But if you're at a party getting dumb lit, and you're gonna leave in the wee hours in the morning, you're not gonna fall asleep at midnight to leave.
Well, I was just speculating. I can't really remember what time they said her time of death was.
I thought that it was like somewhere around 1 or 2 in the morning, but I don't know if that's true or not. But I'm just saying, like, you know, it'd be a single thud, right? If she fell,
Yeah.
and maybe that. Like, I don't really know where
And
she
if
fell
There would
onto
be
what?
probably a
grass?
scream.
Well, I don't remember. Well, remember, didn't we read that part of her body was on the patio, part was on the grass?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know what that sounds like.
I
It'd
don't-
definitely be a thud, I guess.
But,
But a scream.
But
well, she probably wouldn't scream. She was, I don't know.
You wouldn't, if you fell off a 10-foot balcony, you
If
would
you
not
were that
scream.
high, if you're that high, I mean, no,
you could just be like,
It's not
"Whoa."
like she's on like LSD or something where she's seeing stuff. She thinks she's flying. Homegirl's just a little bit. Homegirl's just a little bit tipsy.
No,
a little bit.
She's not just a
she's
little
not
bit
a little bit
tipsy.
tipsy.
Okay, homegirl is like. But when you're drunk,
She's
you
very-
still know. when
She's
something's
very,
happening.
very impaired, Jake.
Very-
I don't think you understand
No.
how impaired she
She was
is.
very, I mean, .08 to .2. There's a lot
To
of
two.
stuff. No,
It's
.2.
.08. That's the legal.
When you're
limit, I
impaired,
guess.
that's, yeah.
And then she was at .2.
She was at .2.
Not to mention,
Yeah, so.
she was high on weed and Xanax.
Well, how did you know that she was high on weed? Because
it was in the.
It was in
your
the,
THC levels rise when you drink alcohol.
Okay,
almost
so
doubled.
they found a leafy green substance in a plastic
They
bag.
found some weed there.
in her
so
stuff.
We're just gonna assume
Like, so
that
she had
THC
weed. Like,
came from the weed.
why are you fighting this so adamantly?
Because we need somebody to play devil's advocate.
Well, I guess. But no, so I mean, if she fell, she could have very well been unconscious from that fall and then just like died.
Yeah, that's true. I
Like
mean, I would have liked
injuries.
for them, and you know, I mentioned this before, and I guess it's a little bit too much TV. But I would have liked for them to got the dummy out there, a dummy that weighed 156 pounds with a unremarkable anus, and you know, dropped it to see if it fell where she fell, and you know what I'm saying? I would have
See-
liked for them to have done that. Is that unrealistic, or is that only TV?
It's
Either
probably only TV.
I feel like the host of the party was a bad host. Because if you hosting people at your house, you don't go to bed until you know where everybody is, in my opinion.
Right.
How are you gonna go to sleep not knowing where everybody is in your own house?
I mean,
That
Jamie,
is
I agree.
that
with
means that you are a bad host because when they are in your house you are responsible for them.
That's true. I do agree with that. But not to mention, you got all these people in your house. I mean, not everybody is trustworthy, even though you got these people in your house. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Especially, first of all, they're racist. Second of all, she's black, so she was.
how do you know that they're racist? Why would you just assume that?
Okay,
But
first
it's
of all-
people like you that are contributing to this misinformation.
First of all,
Like she's dating a Mexican guy. They were friends enough with Tamla to invite her to the party. Like, why would you just assume that the hostess is racist?
First of all, okay, let me redact that. First of all, they live in a racist place. Second of all, Tamla is black. Third of all, I'm sure that not everybody was rocking with each other like that. Like, I'm not sure, like, how close everybody was, if it was, like, a close new group of friends, or if it was the hostess friends all coming together, because
You know what's amazing? Like you said, as far as rapping with the closeness and stuff, when he made the autopsy, when he made the 911 call, Jose, he didn't even really know her name.
Yeah.
How can you not know somebody's name you you've been partying with for these hours?
So
Okay. See that? I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like you people are being a little unrealistic.
Okay. I'll
But-
give you that one here. I mean,
So my thing
I want
is-
to know everybody's name who's in my home. That's just me.
So back to the point that I was saying, if obviously they don't all rock with each other like that. So obviously she knows that Tamla is the odd one out, like from the jump, because she's not white, and she obviously Jose don't even know her name.
That doesn't make
So
her
therefore-
the odd one out. To the entire group, if one member of the group doesn't know her name,
But I mean,
Because
it's
he-
not like he was just when so and so. He is the boyfriend of the homeowner,
But
so
no,
he
look,
probably lives there.
the group was meant for all the girls. Like,
And
it,
yet there was men there. Let's talk about that.
but hold on, let me make my point. So the hostess, I don't remember her name, Jean, it might be Jean, but
Yeah.
so the hostess, like they're all football moms together. Like they have kids who play football together.
Mhm.
That's how they know each other.
Mhm.
So if the hostess is friends with like all the 6 other women, Tamla included, and then she invites them over, like the boyfriend could know about these people. That doesn't mean that he has to know them, you know? So he doesn't have to, like, oh, hey, Tamla Horsford, age 41, weighing 150, like he doesn't have
She
to know
was
everything.
40.
Well, look
Okay.
here, I actually guessed.
See, I get that point, and like, I understand that. And even if she wasn't the odd one out, I still think that if you're gonna have people in your house, you need to know where they are when you're about to go to bed.
Yeah, I do agree with that. You don't agree with that point?
And I do
Mm.
redact my statement about them being racist.
Thank you.
I honestly just think that it depends because they're all there drinking, having a good time. She knows all these people. So, I don't know. You don't know how trusting this woman is. Like, this woman doesn't have to have the same sensibilities as you to where you're like, oh, somebody's in my house. Gotta make sure they're not stealing the silverware.
No, I just
No,
think
but
it's
like-
quite rude just to go to bed before everything in your home is just taken care of.
Yeah, because if somebody needs something,
Right.
they have
I
to go
mean,
disturb you.
I know that you don't entertain people like that, but
I've been
No, I'm not-
entertained plenty of times.
I'm not saying that you haven't been entertaining. I'm not trying to, jab you. I'm just
I'm not-
saying. But I mean, I think it's just kind of rude when you don't make sure all your guests are taken care of before you go to bed.
Even if you don't like watch your guests fall asleep, just being like, so where are you going? Like, where do you
How do you know that Jean didn't do that?
Because nobody knew where she was. Nobody knew what was happening. They thought that she was going home.
And Jose said he was the last one to see her. Where was Jean at? This was Jean's home.
Jean could have been around like, hey, do you need anything? Are you staying? Whatever, and then like
If
turned in.
If she would have known that she was staying, then no one would have said that, oh, she was going home. Because
They said that she wanted to go home, but they had talked her into staying.
Okay, so let's another thing that just really, with the race aspect of it, the person who is making the most noise about this is Tamla's best friend, who is a white woman. So if she is like, these white people killed her, then that kind of makes me feel some
That
type of
doesn't mean
way.
anything.
Okay.
No,
That
I'm
does
just
not mean
saying.
anything.
No, I'm just saying. What is making her feel that way about these people? Go ahead.
I just feel like they didn't do enough to justify. Like they basically said, oh, it was an accident and moved on. Like there was not any, like they could have done the dummy thing like you said. Even though that's TV, they could have done something else. There should have been more investigation than just, oh, it's an accident. Especially after Jose went digging in records that he's involved with. I know he got fired or something. Didn't he get fired?
Yes.
I know he got fired for doing that. But to me, that's not enough because there needs to be some sort of investigation. Because why? You don't go digging into records and risking your job if there's something that you're at higher risk for. Like, what you going?
You don't find that fishy that Jose did that?
And I'm not
He was
saying-
looking into the records.
Yeah.
I'm not-
We don't know why he was looking into the records.
Okay, but my thing with that is like, why would you risk
Right.
your job? There has to be something worth risking
It's
it
against
for.
protocol.
He's looked into other. You said he looked
It's
into
against-
another.
right.
Against him, it was a stalking case with his wife
His
involved.
girlfriend was involved, so it's against protocol to do this.
He
That's why
obviously
he's
doesn't care
attacking.
about protocol.
But
Why does it? What is it so important to throw his job out the window like that? Because he probably knew that he was gonna get caught with.
So let's just
I
get
don't
this
think he
out there
knew
as
that. He
well.
might have done it and felt comfortable doing it. I mean, he's probably done it before and felt comfortable doing it and didn't think nothing of it. But go ahead.
Let's get this out there that he risked his job, he lost his job, and then he got it back. He got his job back, like after he got fired for looking into the records. So
Yeah.
Okay, see, I'm not asking my point that not enough was done because he got his job back with like, and we still don't know what 100% happened to this girl.
Well, okay, so
his job has nothing to do with the girl.
But the case does.
He didn't lose his job because of the case. He lost his job because he violated protocol.
For looking into
the
records
case.
on the case.
Yeah.
I mean, but like, I don't think that they're like, you were looking into Tamla Horsford. Like, we gotta like get rid of this guy. No, like I think.
And that's the issue.
Because he was one of the witnesses. I mean, and
If you're a witness of the crime.
I mean, he's not supposed to do that. I mean, although it's not against the law, it's against your job law. It's like your integrity, a code of conduct. He violated all of that. But clearly not enough for them not to take him back.
I feel like you guys are, or JV specifically, is really trying to like put evil into this. Like evil into everything.
I'm not putting evil into anything. I'm just saying that there's a lot of loose ends that aren't tied up. And if I was the best friend of that woman, I would be pissed too because, like, I don't feel like enough was done for my best friend's death.
And I also think that the dummy thing, like throwing a dummy off the balcony, it's not practical.
That's why I said
Like-
or other tests.
Now I'm just
They
saying.
can do computer, I mean,
But you know, like I don't know the situation out in Forsyth County or wherever it was, but that's time, that's money, that's a body that needs to be there working on that. Like,
okay, and that's not important. A woman has died. It's not important enough to,
I feel like if a woman has died and the evidence is pointing to her dying a certain type of way, devoting even more resources to confirm what you think that you know. Like, and I'm not saying that it was definitely an accident. I'm just saying this might be how they rationalize it. To where it's like, we know what happened. Why in the world would we like
But
put
you know what my
resources
thing of it is how did they know what happened? Because I feel like they were guided to what happened in the 911 call. Jose kind of guided them. I mean, what's her name, Jen? They guided them to that conclusion. I mean, yeah, I'm sure they did some kind of research or what have you, but they guided them there. You know, and I don't like cases like that when you got people guiding, she might have fallen off that balcony.
I definitely feel like the investigators would be smart enough not to be just led so easily to a conclusion. I think that is so crazy that people think that they can go online and read an article and watch some videos and that they are just then better at doing an investigator's job than the investigator who does the job every day, who's been there, who's actually like talked to these people. Like, you can do as much internet sleuthing as you want, but that doesn't make you a detective. Like,
Okay, but my point is that her best friend was not an internet sleuth. Her best friend was there. But go ahead, let's give you final points.
And I want to say something too. My thing is, it's all about the point of view. Because someone on the internet can have a fresh set of eyes on this, or someone on the internet could care a little bit more than the investigator is that day.
I
or
think that
someone, like,
I'm sorry.
it depends.
I think that caring too much is not good. I feel like you need to
you'd
be.
be an excellent detective.
Oh, very funny. I think that because, like,
But neither is caring too little, and I'm not saying that the investigators are caring too little, but the way this case got wrapped up so quick,
you have
feels
to
like
be
it.
unbiased, and I feel like if someone who is passionate about something like this were to look into it, they're like she was murdered, like that's not good for the investigation. Like that's not how you get to the truth.
There's also been other like cases that have been solved because people on the internet call out stuff that doesn't make sense. And that is why our legal system is set up this way, because that's why all the records and stuff are public, so that people can go in and see if there's anything fishy.
That's happened to where people have like helped solve a crime on the internet, but that is so rare. I feel like that's like, how often does that happen, you know?
Okay, well, give your conclusion.
My final thoughts, I think it was an accident. I mean, until I see something that really makes me believe that somebody intentionally killed this woman, like just from the unbiased information that I looked at, I believe that it was an accident.
You little one.
Okay. I believe that it was an accident, but I don't believe that the case was handled well, and I feel like then there was no real investigation, and so I see why people are mad about it, and I feel like there wasn't enough justice for Tamla. That's just my opinion. Because if someone that I cared about died and they wrapped up the investigation like that, I would be distraught.
I'm going to make it a point not to die, so Jay, you didn't have to be distraught. And like that.
Thank you.
No problem. You know, I feel like it's a questionable accident. I mean, I'm at the point where there's nothing like in the autopsy that leads me to believe that she was murdered. But I mean, there's some loose ends, there's some suspicious things, but then again, you know, when alcohol and drugs come into play with, you know, everybody who was there, like you said, there's going to be some, people can't get their stories together because everybody's seeing everything differently. I think at this point, until they release, or if they release the results of the autopsy done by the family, I'm going to have to go with accident as opposed to her being murdered.
Well, thank you for joining us here in this episode. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Try to have a conversation with your family. See if you can get on the same page.
And if not the same page, at least in the same chapter.
And if not the same chapter, don't kill black people.